What do you think of this, like Declan Rice coming to Chelsea? Because I have my own thoughts on it, but I want to know what you think about Declan Rice.
Well, I believe that Declan Rice is a very good addition to the squad. The only issue is, can Declan Rice accept to play bench role at Chelsea? Because at the moment, N'Golo Kante is the ultimate guy. He's the best guy to play in
Right.
DM position. So, yeah, you can't really push N'Golo Kante away at the moment to accommodate Declan Rice, because N'Golo Kante is very, very good. He's better than Declan Rice, more experienced than Declan Rice, can still produce better than Declan Rice. So there is no reason whatsoever to push N'Golo Kante away. Secondly, Declan Rice is not really like versatile. Like, he can play as number 8 and all that. So maybe we're moving forward to play as number 8. He can play as number 8, but can he produce the goods as a number 8? No.
Yeah, that's my whole question is the necessity, right? He's playing week in and week out at West Ham, right? Granted, West Ham is a mid-table team,
Yeah.
but why would it wouldn't, to me, it wouldn't really make that much sense for him to leave a team where he's playing week in and week out to come to a team where he's going to mostly be sitting on the bench unless Kante gets injured, or the random match that you want to rest Kante. I mean, he's going to be sitting on the bench. So I don't know how that would make sense for him, because isn't it true that all players are trying to play week in and week out?
So it really doesn't make sense for him, football-wise. It doesn't make sense for Chelsea, business-wise and otherwise. So it's a no-no for me.
Okay. Do you think at this point Giroud is staying or going? Or do you think that the last 2 weeks is going to see him stay at Chelsea now?
Yeah, definitely. I never thought Chelsea will allow him to leave in January. The situation remains the same. We can't afford to lose a striker because we only have two. With that, I don't think that we'll be scared of losing him in January. No chance, even for all the money in the world.
Right, but doesn't Lampard, I feel like Lampard has this kind of history of, playing men for a while, but then for whatever reason, that guy could go from number 1 to number 3. Or in the case of Tomori, I mean, he was player of the year at Derby. He came in, everybody loved how Tomori was looking. For me, Tomori should have been our third in terms of the pecking order. We have 5 center backs. Tomori should have been number 3. But instead, we haven't seen him all season long. Like, I don't know. Sometimes I guess I get very confused about how Lampard thinks when it comes to some of these players that kind of eventually get shut out for whatever reason. Do you think that Tomori probably got shut out because he didn't take the loan move?
No. I think that he's number 4 or number 5, and that's where he should be. So at the moment, I think that few times that Rudiger has come in to deputize for Thiago Silva, he has played very, very well. Going by Lampard's book and the way he thinks, the way he rolls his team week in, week out, he will maintain Rudiger as number 3. Now, number 4 and number 5, is between Tomori and Christensen. And at the moment, Christensen is playing ahead of Tomori. So he's basically number 5. But what I cannot say, I'm not a huge fan of Christensen for various reasons. And if you ask me, I will pick Tomori ahead of Christensen. So that means I will make Tomori number 4 instead of number 5. But that's Lampard for you. Even before the break, a few months before the break, he stopped playing. Lampard was playing Rudiger and Christensen, and Rudiger and Kotzuma. During the start of the season, if you remember, Rudiger was injured for a long period of time.
Yeah.
So because of that, he had only Kotzuma, Christensen, and Tomori. So he was chopping and changing between the 3 to find the perfect balance. And until Rudiger returned, immediately Rudiger returned, he started playing Rudiger constantly, and then pairing Rudiger with Kotzuma, at times Christensen. So Christensen and Kotzuma played more games when Rudiger was fit than Tomori. So that kind of tells you that Lampard rates Kozuma and Christensen higher than Tomori. Somehow,
Okay.
I don't really agree, but I think that's the way he thinks because the way he has played them shows exactly that.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I guess we don't know the backstory behind it. That's the point. So it doesn't make sense to us. But there's some, like you said, you trust Lampard, so you're sure that there's some reasoning there that we just don't know.
Exactly.
Well, hopefully Tomorrow goes out on loan somewhere and gets, to play week in and week out and gets to develop. I mean, I think didn't the club come out like a week ago or something and talk about how they still trust in whatever their long-term plan for Tomorrow is? It's just for right now, I think they kind of want him to go on loan.
I really think that he needs to go on loan. Really, even I was even disappointed that he didn't go on loan. That was ill-advised. During the summer, he had opportunities to go on loan to somewhere like Everton, who are lacking good defenders, and he could have went there and played a lot of matches, but he turned
Mhm.
it down. Right now, he's struggling at Chelsea, so it's not really a very good situation for him at the moment. But if I were him, I would ask to leave on loan in January. He's a young player, really. Going on loan doesn't close the door. Going on
Right.
loan is also an opportunity for you to show that you are undroppable.
Right.
Remember, because Zuma was playing for Chelsea 90 minutes after 19 minutes before he got injured and went on loan for 2 years or 3 years, if I'm not wrong. I think he went to run to Stoke and then go to Everton. And then he went to Stoke and went to Everton. And before coming back to Chelsea, that's 2 years, good 2 years. And he came back and he didn't play not a lot last season as a starter. But this season he has nailed it down as a starter. That's 3 years for him to get back his shirt. So when I look at it, I don't think that Tomori can say that he must get back his shirt today. If not, it's boss for him. He can go back. He can go out on loan and prove a point, play 90 minutes every week. Put himself in a position whereby when he comes back, it will be hard for Chelsea to drop him. You can put a club in that position even while on loan.
Right.
So it's not really a bad thing to do, or something that would be detrimental to his career. I mean, for me, I think it's a no-brainer for him to leave on loan at the moment if he wants to make it at Chelsea. Only thing that can make him make it at Chelsea right now is if we all of a sudden get hit by too many injuries in central defense, then
Right.
he will have a chance. If not, yeah, I really doubt if Lampard is going to give him any chance anytime soon.
Right, but I had heard, and I didn't read much into this, but I heard somewhere that I think the loan offer that he had that he turned down right before the season start was from West Ham, and I guess he didn't go because he didn't think he would get minutes there too. Because I guess for him, obviously, the worst thing to do would be to go on loan and then you end up on the bench
And
anyway.
stay on the bench.
Right.
Yes.
So I think that's
Yeah.
why he turned down
Yeah.
West Ham. But maybe, like you said, he needs to go to an Everton or just somewhere that's kind of struggling with their defenders. Even what Leeds doesn't have a good defense right now. So I don't know. I don't know if they have their established center backs, but they don't really have that great of a defense. So maybe hopefully they find a good option for him for January. Because I think I really rate Tomori. I like his speed. I thought when he played with Zuma that he and Zuma was a decent partnership. If you remember that Ajax game, even though they did take what Ajax scored like 4 goals, but I felt like he and Zuma were a good partnership, and I really would like to see him go off somewhere on loan and really just make a name for himself.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you completely. And in fact, let me go back a little bit. What happened in the summer was he had a lot of offers on the table from Rennes in France, from Everton. He turned all of them down. And
Oh,
then before the end of the transfer window, West Ham came in and he thought about West Ham a little bit and then still turned them down. So West Ham was the last club, that eventually came for him.
okay.
But at the end of the day, like others, they didn't succeed. But he had opportunities to go even before West Ham.
Mm,
So he had opportunity to go to Everton. He had opportunity to go to Reims in France. He had those opportunities, but he turned them down. These are the ones that we heard like from the media. I'm sure that there are other ones that didn't come to the media, but that
right,
didn't make it to the media. But
right.
these are the ones that made it to the media. that we know about. So he's a good player. If you say that he's out, that he's been scheduled to go out on loan in January, he will have about 4 or 5 Premier League teams, hoping to get him, or even top championship teams hoping to get him. Going to championship is also not even not bad for him at the moment, because he needs to play. He's a central defender. Basically, central defenders get better with playing time. No matter what you teach them, in training, at the end of the day, they need to experience those things to make mistakes and correct mistakes, and that only comes during proper football match, not just training. So for him, wasting his time on the bench at Chelsea is not really good for his career. So hopefully, like you said, hopefully we find the club will find a solution for him in January, and he will go and enjoy himself. He's a huge player, and I believe that he will come back to Chelsea a better player if he does that. And he has a huge future. It's just a matter of him, fine-tuning his game, getting things in order. He has a huge future because almost he has every attribute. He's fast. He can dribble. He can pass. He can defend. He has almost everything. He's very athletic. So he has almost everything. It's just all about playing more and gaining more experience. Once he can do that, either at Chelsea or elsewhere, then he can become a very serious player.
Yeah, I guess as you say all that in my head, I'm like, well, Christensen doesn't have all that. Are we going to regret it? Like, if Tomori goes out on loan and we keep Christensen, but Christensen don't have all those qualities. Like, I don't know, but
Yeah, really.
They'll play out.
To me, I've mentioned it. I rate him more than Christensen, obviously, because I think that he will be a better player than Christensen in 2 years or 3 years' time. So I rate him more than Christensen.